This will be an unboxing of the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 670 2GB GDDR5 video card from Nvidia. Now, I'm very excited to get this card. Now, this is, if you've been living under a rock, an AMD rock probably, you probably aren't aware of the 600 series and the true brute power of the GTX 670. Now, this card is in many ways similar to the GTX 680. It's significantly cheaper, and it has the same memory bus width. So the only performance that is reduced is the CUDA core count on the digital GPU, which makes this card an absolute beast, very near GTX 680. Like a lower end GTX 680 can get the same score as this a high-end version of the 670 that's obviously overclocked and tuned well. So obviously it's it's a good investment, and if you had multiple 670s and SLI, I mean, you would have an absolute killer combination. But need to continue on. As we can see, Gigabyte branding got the eye, which they've had in their video card series for a while now. It's a bit Tron now. OC version, WindForce cooler design, 2048 megabytes, or 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory, GeForce GTX 670, PC Authority, highly recommended manufacturer, and then we have the same from there. Just some more information. Product model number is N67OC overclocked, 2 gigabyte, 2 GD. On the back we have all the bits and pieces about what makes this card better than the rest. Okay, so let's start. We've got the WindForce anti-turbulent cooling design, 8mm copper heat pipe, and you have the 3-phase dissipating heat, unique RAM heatsink, triangular cool technology. We've got a picture of the direct heat pipe touch. I suppose it doesn't say that's a vapor chamber. That's quite interesting. We've got main features: supports DirectX 11, OpenGL 4.2, powered by 670 GPU. 3D enhancement technology, remember that improve the image quality without sacrificing performance. Just the outputs: DVI-I, DVI-D, and HDMI DisplayPort support, and shader model 5. This is a PCI Express 3.0 card, but it will run perfectly fine in PCI Express Generation 2.0 at 16x. It's compatible with Windows 7. It's basically a $500 card, so it bloody better be. We can see a bit of a yellow theme. It's a bit weird, but let's get the card out of the box. Now we are faced with a white box in which the glory is contained. Now I do plan to do some benchmarks with this card in comparison to some other cards I have access to, so do stay tuned for that. Okay, we open up the box and we can see a manufacturer warranty information that basically just says it's 3-year warranty with Australia, which is really good, because after 3 years this card, I'll either broken it by overclocking it too much, or it'll be outdated, or I don't know, something else, another. Okay, we've got, that takes power, something that you plug in, it's computery. If you need to read this, alright, if you need to read this, you should probably do a little bit more research into video cards and computing and building a computer in general. We have a driver disk with OC Guru 2 as well, so still potentially useful, but anyway, throw it away. Download the latest from the Gigabyte and Nvidia websites respectively. Before we get to the video card, let's get to the accessories. We have 2 Molex, 2 6-pin power adapters. If you do need to use these, it's not 6-pin, 8-pin and a 6-pin. Corrected there. If you do need to use these, you should probably get a power supply, because this card isn't for you. Maybe you want to get a 660 Ti. That was launched just today. I did think about getting a 660 Ti, but I'm like, that's just a bit too general. I want a 670. I want beast performance. I want 256-bit interface. 192 is with a 660 Ti. Let's take this card out of the antiseptic bag. Should have ground yourself. Make sure you're not wearing thick warm socks. We take the card out. Ah, yes. Beast 110 million gazillion %. Wow. And it just smells of new PCB. We've got our probably 80mm fans here. We've got our PCI Express 3.0 interface at the bottom. It says there's 2 ounces of copper in the PCB, obviously utilising that ultra durable design. Now, something you might notice about this particular revision, rather than a standard GTX 670, is that we have a full PCB. The standard 670 PCB cuts off at about here, and that's because NVIDIA, in their wisdom, found it, they were able to cram enough of the essential circuitry into that particular area, and then the rest is just for the fan and the rest of the shroud. But because this is an overclocked edition card, Gigabyte have needed to use more PCB to fit the VRMs and all the voltage regulation circuitry to be able to make sure that this card gets adequate power and is adequately cooled. Additionally, something I think I've noticed this, but the PCB in the card how it's designed and that is essentially what this probably is. I can't say with all certainty. It's a 680 PCB, but with a 670 core in it. Is probably what Gigabyte have done. I mean, it's it's not as if that's a bad thing. It's probably in fact a good thing, but something I still can't understand. Gigabyte are still using a turquoisey blue for their PCB designs, yet with their motherboard series, in their high-end motherboard UD series, they have black PCBs, and yet they have failed to grace the video card market with that, which is a bit disappointing. It's fine, I have a blue PCB, I have an X58A UD7, but that's neither here nor there. So as we can see, we have support for, we have 2 SLI bridges, so you have, I think it's up to 3, it might be 4, correct me if I'm wrong. This section here, this support brace, is metal, yes, is metal, and obviously, because there's so much bulk in the card, you need that support brace. We have an 8-pin and a 6-pin. We go to the back, we can see the outputs. We have a DVI-D, DVI-I, we have an HDMI, and we have a DisplayPort, and you can use, I think it's 3 of these, or it's either 3 of these or all of these at the same time, by having, I believe it's 3. You can have a monitor plugged into here, let's say one plugged into HDMI, and then another plugged into this DVI-I, which this port will support 2560 by 1600 output, and will support the 3 120Hz cables, because that's full-length DVI. This is single link, and up to, well, appears to be dual link DVI digital, and that would be something if you want to run a standard monitor. And then you've got your HDMI and your DisplayPort. Something I did notice, which is a good thing, is that Gigabyte have not included a DVI to VGA adapter with this card. They must seem it that necessary that it's not required to include one. I still do have a VGA monitor as a secondary, which I'm thinking about replacing. I've had it for, God, 8 years? Yep, 8 years or so maybe. Maybe a little less than that, maybe 6 years. But that's quite an interesting move. As you can see, there's nothing in the box, so it's just the adapters. I'll try to do some performance results on that. That'll either be at the end of this video, or it'll be in another video entirely. So do continue either to watch this video, or click on the link that I'll supply as an annotation at the end. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the unboxing of the Gigabyte GTX 670 2GB GDDR5 video card from NVIDIA, and don't forget to subscribe.